All right, today's schedule. So here we go. So we've got 2 hour, 1 hour sessions. First session will be around injury management, which will follow on from the what we've discussed already into concussion and vilification. We'll have a little break, then come back for some footy updates. So the footy umpiring team, I don't know if they're actually in the room. No, they're not. Leaving it to my own devices. So obviously myself as GM, we've got Mark Stevens, who started with us mid-season as our footy operations coordinator. He's been elevated into the role of football operations manager. And we've obviously Stephen Privatera, who's remained as our umpires operation manager. Due to the restructure, we're sort of taking the football operations and as a separate part of running match day. We're now adding a tribunal and compliance officer, which is going to be managing investigations and the tribunal and any compliance issues like using the wrong branded footies or wrong branded uniforms. So, all right, so that's our team. So like I said, it's not a big team. It's just the three of us, hopefully four. So obviously running, what have we got? 315 teams, 67 clubs, over 23 LGAs, and it's just us. So if we don't get to your calls on time, there's a reason for it. Guest speakers today, again, we're going to give them a lot of time. Like I said, you can hear my voice any time. We've got Dr. Brooke Patterson in today from La Trobe, who's going to help us talk about injury management. Owen Hinson, who's our premier umpire coach and who runs our field umpires. Who'll talk about some umpiring updates. And we've got Jen McCasey in here from the AFL. Who actually runs our vilification, which is called the Peak Rule, who's the vilification manager. So to talk about vilification, which from our perspective is a key issue from last year, which we obviously need to crack down on in 2025. Some housekeeping stuff, again, knowing that you will get access to this documentation, so you don't need to retain all this information, but here's basically the key date. So we've got a members meeting coming up mid-March. The members meeting is effectively a mini AGM for those that haven't been to one before. It's an opportunity for clubs to vote on rule changes, policies, et cetera, as we do at the AGM. So notices will go out around about Feb 21. We'll put probably a notice out a couple of weeks before that if anyone's got some submissions that they want to present in that members meeting for voting, which we've obviously got a few topics that are interested for that at the moment. So that's the members meeting, March 12. We'll then back that up with a captain and coaches night, which is to basically to touch on rules. The umpires will be there again to talk about how we can improve umpire-player relationships and any other rule changes that may come from the members meeting rule change night. We again want to have another sports trainer seminar. It went pretty well last year to touch again on concussion and injury management. And access to Victor, etc. Season launch and then round 1, April 5. Everyone's starting together. Last year we had a staggered start, but this year we're all starting together. We'll all get 2 rounds in, and we have a break for Easter, and then we go through to King's birthday and into Big V. Big V this year is pretty exciting. It's our 100th year of Big V football, so it's a big gala dinner coming up on July 10 into, hopefully, a few games of footy. So Perth Footy League here in Melbourne against a Big V men and women. Our second Big V men's side and our first Big V under-19 squad will go and play against Bendigo Footy League in Bendigo, which will be a bus trip up and back. And then the following Saturday, fingers crossed, is what we're working on is our second Big V women's team. We'll go and play against St Mary's in Northern Territory. Which is what a work in progress at the moment. So that's our plan for Big V. It's a big year. And then as we did this year, the standalone women's grand final, Premier Women's and our Premier Men's will be standalone matches with the men on the public holiday of grand final. And then our awards night. And then before we know it, we're into this again. So there's our key dates. I sent around a club checklist on the portal maybe a week or 2 ago, just for clubs, knowing there are a lot of new committees this year, a lot of new faces on committees, a lot of new presidents. Therefore, a lot of the communications I'm getting is what do we need to do now? So this is basically just a club checklist of stuff that clubs need to be actioned, if not yesterday, today or tomorrow. So if the 2024 financial year documents were due January 31. So if you haven't done that, they need to be submitted as part of the rules 2 weeks ago. So please get that done. 2025 fixtures are obviously being spat out as we go. I'll run into that a bit later, but they're coming out as quickly as we possibly can. There will be a change to the Premier Women's fixture and to the Under-19s Premier fixture. They'll be amended. Premier Thirds will be done shortly if they haven't already. And every other section that doesn't include promotion or relegation will get done once team entries are submitted. The last date for team entries is March 1. So if you haven't done your team entries, please do so. The quicker we get your team entries in, the quicker we can do fixtures. The grading rounds obviously kick off in rounds 1, 2, and 3 this year for the teams that don't have promotion relegation, but I'll explain that a bit later. Again, touched on club contacts, team entries. Please get that in ASAP. Transfers are open. If you're having issues with Play HQ or any transfer issues, especially with players that have signed a player agreement at a professional club that are not willing to play at that club anymore, want to come back, please let me know and we can get that sorted out hopefully as quickly as possible. Registrations obviously are open. Every club has done pretty well so far in setting up their club registration page, which is obviously managed by the club. Again, we're talking about it's $11 registration fee. That hasn't changed. For players, coaches, officials don't need to pay the $11, but they still need to register in Play HQ because they need to be added on a team sheet as part of our rules. So please get everyone to register, whether it's a player, team manager, official, timekeeper, etc. The $11 fee for the player, again, it's an upsell to come to VAFA, but also explains the $11 is the gold level marsh insurance, which every player gets as part of their registration fee, as well as access to that player assistance program run by Converge International, which is, I think it's up to 4 personal psychology sessions or welfare assistance. It doesn't need to be football related, it can be life related, work related, whatever it is, but because they're a VAFA player, they get access to the program for free, well, for $11. Fixtures, again, with the 3 of us at the moment, we're sort of split up some key tasks at the moment. So obviously the main ones at the moment are fixtures, pre-season and transfers and player points. For all fixtures there, we got Mark directly. Any umpiring questions or club visits, practice matches that you need umpires for, please get hold of Stephen. And any transfers, player points, Play HQ, please at the moment come to me. Once the fixturing element dies down a bit and we get a tribunal person in, the transfers and player points will be split up. Transfers will go to Mark and player points will go to the compliance staff member. Our key values, as most of our decisions are all made around at league level, is obviously community, respect, integrity, and inclusion. We know that a player that feels belonged and taken care of are most likely to stay at your club. So while these are messages from government or AFL or VAFA, it's only because we're seeing trends and we're seeing that the data that says that players are no longer committing to 2 nights a week training, as every club will know now. They're not committing to every Tuesday and Thursday night training. They're not committing to every game. They sort of come and go as they like. They're more likely to miss games for weddings or whatever else, as in the past that never happened. It was almost unspoken. How dare you miss a game of footy? Then it got to a stage where people come up with pretty unique excuses not to come to training. And now it's literally, I'm not training tonight, to now not even letting us know. So there is a big trend between what our player is and a demographic of player. The committed player is on the way down, whereas a non-committed player, if you like, is going up, which you can see from our thirds competition, which is exploding. So there are key values that we make in every decision we make. Our code of conducts, again, this is what sort of builds us all together. We already have a players and coaches and spectators code of conduct. We've created a new one, officials code of conduct, which includes your runner, your trainer, your team manager, etc. Alcohol policy, player point system policy, which already exists in senior men's footy. It's now new into the women's premier competition this year for seniors. Obviously our AMA status, through our permit committee and in obviously our integrity division. Player portal. This is basically where we put everything. So any rule change, any policy, any new news update, it all lives here. You get a notification every time we put something up. You don't have to look at it every day, but if you do, you don't need to respond to every email that you get, but just know that if you are looking for something, it is here. The top banner at the top are the ones that are most relevant for that time of year. So at the moment, this is taken from last week, I think. So player permit application forms, that's for everyone who needs is coming from a VFL or AFL or VFLW, AFLW background that's coming to VAFA, $2. Club contact sheet, player point reassessment and application form, and registration play HQ support. So they're the most relevant things at the moment. That will change depending on the time of year. 150 odd games every weekend, so we probably need 1,000, 1,200 umpires to fill all that. We're not even halfway. So if you can understand how big our competition is growing, as Owen mentioned, while our competitions are growing more than we expected and AFL Vic expected, our umpiring numbers just haven't matched up. So we'll get there eventually, but it's going to take time. Speed dating. This is going to go real fast because we are running out of time. Play HQ support, for those that are new, Play HQ are not changing anything from last year. So live scoring will still be the same. All their club help will kick off soon. I don't think it's available yet. I think maybe come into March it will be. So if you've got any issues with Play HQ whatsoever, transfers, permits, live scoring, whatever it is, contact Play HQ. They've got dedicated resources at the AFL that will help you there. Specific stuff, obviously come to us, but if it's Play HQ related technical support, please go to Play HQ, don't come to us. They will help you because they know what they're doing. Live scoring, please make sure you got people at your club set up for live scoring. You can do it on an iPad, you can do it on a desktop, you can do it on a mobile phone. Anyone can do it. You can change access as you would with cricket, those that are familiar with that program as well. So it's all pretty simple to use. Player points, as we spoke about, every player that's playing senior footy this year in men's and premier women's footy this year needs a player point allocated to them. Any new player into the competition obviously then needs a player point. We have already automatically changed 2024 listed players with season of services deductions for 2025. That's been done. However, if you've got any questions or reassessments that you want done, please go into the portal, click that button and go to reassessment. We'll reassess that for you. If you think there's an error, we'll also then allocate any new players. We will not automatically do that for you. You need to let us know. Please get on the front foot, especially clubs that have an aligned school. Just send us every name you've got at your school with a note saying, yep, they've attended the school for 3 years. It could be a list of 50 and that's all we need. We don't need a separate school document for every single player. Just give us one email from a letterhead from the school, from the sports director or whoever saying, yep, this list of players have played at the school for the minimum of 3 years. They're already 1 pointers. We'll put them into the system straight away. All right, simple as that. So please get on the front foot there. Don't wait till round one, and because then don't wait till please don't wait till round one.
Question: do they have to have a set number of games in that 3 years?
No, not if they're a school 1 point play. No.
The junior community club.
Yep.
Play 40.
Yeah, it's based on I think it's 5 years, 5 games per season, something like that. Yeah. But if they're a school, it's just they've got to attend for a minimum of 3 years from year 7. So I know a lot of schools have a combined junior school or primary school. It's got to be from year 7. So 3 years at your school, they're automatically 1 point. We don't need any other information, just one letterhead. Question? No, good. Play point system, again, that hasn't changed this year. So women's premier clubs, please be familiar with this process. Again, all your seniors will need a player point allocated to them. The player points were assigned at the AGM. I have forgotten what that is. I think it's 49. Yep, good. Thank you. So that'll be a reassessment. Yeah, please get on the front foot early. Every time you get a transfer of a new player, please get that done straight away so you aren't waiting till round one. AFLW, VFLW, or AFL and VFL returning players need to go through the player permit process. They need to sit in front of our permit committee. They get a welcome to amateurs. They get explain what amateur status is, and of course a declaration from them saying that they're not being rewarded or remunerated in any way in terms of playing for VAFA, and then we'll give them a permit and proceed with the transfers. On field, this is an ongoing thing. We understand there's a lifespan of a set of footy jumpers at a footy club. We get it. We're saying any new development, any new footy jumpers certainly need to be provided by one of our on-field providers. There are 4 of them now. We need to get rid of old branding ASAP. They're not allowed. You will get fined, which is the new tribunal person's job once they start. So please make sure that it's the version on the left, the new VAFA logo and the new Homesglen logo. It's not the V logo anymore. It's certainly not sports cover. And that's a priority, as is with the footies. Make sure they're the right branding, because if they're the wrong branding, you'll get fined. The clash unity policy, again, once you get your designs done, please send them to me as soon as you get them approved, because we will put them into a document which will live on the portal and our website, so that every club will know what clubs you have a clash with, so that you know that if you're playing away to that club, you know that you've got to provide a clash jumper. If you do not have a clash jumper, VAFA provide free sets of jumpers in 4 different colours that you can book through us. It doesn't cost you any money. You just bring them back washed a couple of days later. That is not a problem. But if you do have a clash jumper, please get them done for the games where they clash. If you notice there's a club on here that you think should be a clash that we haven't listed, let us know. We'll just simply type it in. Okay, moving forward to some footy stuff. Again, this is speed dating. Get it to them real fast. Team entries and fixtures. The purpose of this document, which is a live document of footy ops, is to basically work out how many divisions we think we need, e.g. how many umpires we need, how many footies we need, finals, how many finals venues do we need, etc., etc. If your club is there in green, it means thank you. You've sent through your club entry team lists. If you don't have any colours next to your club, that means you've not submitted your team entry yet. So please do so. This will help us decide how many divisions we need, how many numbers per division, etc., etc. The quicker you get that into us, the quicker we can actually get fixtures out for our divisional rounds that require grading. Don't worry about, I know everyone's looking where their club is. That's not where you're playing. That's just finding out how many divisions we need depending on when the team entry forms have come in. Fixtures, obviously, who have we got here? Delar, no, not here, Delar, gone. Haileybury and Kevin's, Scob, please get them in straight away. Certainly in Premier. Under 19 Premier as well, we're missing, and thirds Premier. The rest, every other club, so every other division in women. So Premier B, women down to, at this stage, Division 6 will be part of grading. Under 19 Div 1 to potentially Div 6 this year will be grading, and thirds Division 1 to thirds Division, also 6 at this stage, will be part of grading. We can't set fixtures yet until we know how many teams are in it. So please get them done straight away. Grading process. This is a bane of my existence over the last couple of years. It's horrible. Hearing that this player won't ever play for us again if we don't go down a division, our team will pull out, we'll never play again, you're going to ruin our club. I've seen it, I've heard it, I get it. 67 clubs have all got your own unique things. We do this for one reason only, and that's competitive balance. That's our objective stance. We're not subjective, it's objective. What we're doing is ranking every club from 2024. This is an example of our women's program on this sheet here, because that's our next step off the rank, is that we're going to rank you all from last year's performances, 1 to 62, I think we're up to at the moment. I'm going to then put you in pools. You're going to play each other, 3 rounds of grading. After that, we're going to re-rank you and find out where you sit, and that becomes then the divisions for 2025. So basically, you've got 3 rounds of footy to just dictate whether or not we're completely off track. We will know based on outline results, scores for, score against, and obviously wins, whether or not you need to go up a division or down division. It's going to be objective, again, not subjective. We're going to make those calls based on facts. So that's the plan. Sorry.
3 or 4 round.
3. Yep. So it'll be 3 rounds of grading and 13 rounds of football. So it'll be 16 rounds for women's, 19s and thirds. That is on the step that we are not far off going to promotion relegations for at least the first, hopefully three grades of women's football in 2026. Certainly the top 3 grades of thirds in 2026, and potentially the top 3 grades of 19s in 2026 will all be promotion relegation. Because we've got the numbers and stats of the pretty much the same clubs over the last few years. So we're going to start promotion relegation so that we've actually got every game will count for something. So obviously you got the men's at the moment where you've got teams fighting for finals, you've got teams fighting for promotion, you've got teams fighting for relegation. We want to throw that through as many grades as we can because our competition is just getting so big. So if you look to here, every team in yellow is a new team being entered so far this year. We've obviously lost, who do we lose? Bulling Temp, but we're hopefully adding a few more. But yeah, teams in yellow are new teams from 2024, and that's only going to be added as we go. So it is getting bigger and bigger. We need to, so 314 teams at this stage, and that's without receiving 17 clubs as team entries yet. Under 19 eligibility, as we spoke about this time last year, reverting back to pre-COVID stages, which is in line with the AFL Victoria's plans for development, 2 years of under 17s, 2 years of under 19s, etc. Going back to how it's always been. We do have the opportunity at VAFA though to come up with our criteria, overage criteria. At the moment, internally, to give age dispensation, we've come up with 2, and that is either a top-up player to avoid a forfeit or a development player, meaning that they're brand new to footy and they've played less than 18 games in their career. There's a few clubs that have come to us already saying that they'd like some additions to that. You're most welcome to do so if you've got unique situations at your club, knowing that the rules that we make are for the competition, not for obviously individuals or just 1 or 2 clubs. It needs to be voted on. So when we send out the members meeting notices, clubs will have an opportunity to present some additional criteria that they may want to add. It'll go to the members meeting for a vote. So it'll be simple as that. So the vote, if we want to add to these conditions, we're not voting for the eligibility criteria because that's an AFL Victoria recommendation, which we're going to adopt to go back to pre-COVID. But clubs can apply for additional criteria. One being that's come to us that the school year is obviously based at Gen 1, and of the clubs that are aligned to a school, they're basically splitting up half their year level, reverting back to this. So that's something that's going to go to the clubs to vote on. So that's how that works.
Sorry, I'm the development players.
Yep.
Would you belong contribute to the AAS?
If it's in Play HQ, yep. So that's all we're going to go based on. If it's recreational football and then with their Oz kick and whatever, it's not going to count. But if it's competition football, they all count. Yep. Yep. It's basically saying that we know then that they're not going to impact the game because they're superstars. Club information forums this year. So we trialled advisory groups a couple of years ago. When I first started, we trialled regional club forums last year, which we went out to different pockets for information. Not a great sort of investment or turn up there. So we're going to effectively revert to splitting they're going to be online and they're going to be available to anyone, but we're going to be, the agendas will be per competition. So we'll have 2 per year. So there'll be 2 Premier Men's forums, 2 Divisional Men's forums, 2 Women's forums, 2 Men's thirds and 2 Under 19 Men's forums. So there'll be 10 throughout the year that will be designed similar to this, except a little bit more interactive and hopefully with more time. But that'll be an opportunity to give us some concerns, threats, opportunities that we need to look at, feedback, best case studies. We'll invite some clubs to have a chat about what's working for them, what's not working for them. in the process of obviously then looking at potential rule changes for 2026. So they'll probably start, I'd say one in May, probably one in early August. So keep an eye out for those. They are obviously in addition to obviously today, captain and coaches meeting, which will be coming up, members meeting, which will be March 12. And then obviously we've got a dedicated community and club support team out the back. So there's 4 of those people now on board. Darren Flanagan's obviously just started, who those might know from the Geelong Footy Club. Claire's obviously started working in the raise your stakes scenario, and we've got Pranav Menon, who's going to be who basically will, if you need help putting your budget together, finding grants, then he's your man for all that sort of stuff. And then of course surveys. Representative footy. So this year we've got rep footy. As we mentioned, there's 2 games at Osmic Park versus Perth Footy League. It's the Big V men's and the Big V women's. It is the 100th year of Big V footy, so it's massive for us. And obviously everyone that's ever played. So that save your date there we've got for the Thursday night, 10th of July. We're expecting to have 500 plus people there. It's going to be massive. Jumper presentations. We've got 5 teams. It's going to go for a while. I don't know how it's going to work. Susan in the room? No. Good luck, Susan. We've got 2 games in Bendigo on the Sunday. The Big V men and women's coaches will be basically headhunting the players for that. In the previous years, we've gone to club to nominate. The coaches are going to basically say, look, we want a squad of X, and they're going to actively recruit them themselves. So we'll contact clubs directly saying we want player X, Y, and Z. However, for the Premier B to Div 3 men's and the Premier B to Div 5 women's, as well as the Big V under 19s, we're going to go to clubs and ask you for the players that you think you want to nominate to trial. Once they trial, they actually get hit into their Big V jumper. Last year, the 19s went north versus south to see if there was any interest. Obviously, there was. It was still probably one of the best games of footy we had at Osmic Park all year. It was a cracking game. So the clubs will be nominated, asked for non-player nominations for that. So keep an eye on for that. That won't be too far away because we need to get everything sorted in terms of travel. There won't be accommodation, unfortunately. I had that ruled out. I was happening to spend the Saturday night up in Bendigo. It's not happening. It's a bus trip up and back. And then the final one, the Northern Territory game. So we're working really strongly at the moment with Northern Territory government, state government, and a few third parties to get this game up and about. There's a club up there, St Mary's. I don't know whether anyone's familiar with St Mary's, but they're keen to have us. We just need to get the funding and the cost done. We don't want it to be a cost for VAFA. We want the cost to come out of funding and sponsors. So that's a hope. That's a hopeful there. Any questions? I'll open up for the board on anything we've discussed today or anything else that hasn't been discussed. Yeah, so we trialled the melee policy last year, for those not sure. So that was our rule of the week, if you like. Not that we do rule of the week, Owen, but our rule of the week last year was around melees and stamping them out. So we suspended the coach if there were 4 melees for the year. We ended up suspending, I think, 5 coaches throughout the year. We did see a reduction in the amount of teams getting to 4 or more. And a lot of clubs, got a little bit scared when they got to 3. But we found that it worked. So it'll continue. As part of a match day, there will be push and shove, late bump, the response, player gets knocked out or big bump, there will be a response. The melee isn't called like that. The disperse opportunities there. What we don't want to see is players running from the other side 20 metres away to be getting involved in it. If it happened there, it happens there. The umpire's on the spot. Okay, that's enough. Disperse. If that all happens, there's no melee. If they don't listen to the umpire and there's people coming from everywhere, it's a melee immediately. But we can still do that.
It's still 5.
It's a rule. Yeah, the rule hasn't changed.
Sorry, you said that it starts afresh each year.
Yeah.
So okay, a club, if you like, has got 3, they're now back on 0.
Everyone's at 0.
What if a coach is already on 3?
0. Yeah. Any other questions on anything? No. Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you for your attendance today. If you need anything else, you let us know from a footy perspective or club community. But enjoy. Thank you.